It was when I was first spinning raw wool, and then I had yarn. I had spun up from the raw wool. It wasn't I had bought it at a craft show or something like that, and then I had knitted up a little sweater for my first grandbaby, who is going to turn 14 years old in April. And when I put it on him, I forget who was there. I remember my father was there and somebody else. And we were all excited. I think his mother, of course, his mother was there. And we were putting it on him. He had him on the dining room table. And my father was standing there, very interested in the whole process. And I was explaining to him that I had spun the wool, that I had knitted the little sweater in. And the next thing I said to him was to actually have the critter that the wool came from. And that must have been the first time. That was a long... Well, that started with our older boy, who, when he was 9, went to school one day, came home, and he was spinning away, spinning. And they had one of the mothers had come in who had some sheep. She had come in to show the kids kind of how to do it. Well, instantly he was spinning up all this stuff with just essentially a drop spindle. And she had given him all the roving because he was into it. So he was spinning, and he was about to turn 10. And all he wanted was a spinning wheel. So we got him a spinning wheel. Not an elaborate thing, but... And as with many 10-year-olds, he was crazy nuts about it for a month maybe, and spun. And of course I was all into it, that he was going to spin and I was going to knit, and so I went out and got bags and bags of roving for him to spin. And in fact, I did knit a little tiny sweater for a little teddy bear he had, and that was about it. He got interested in something else, so that sat there for a long time, and I wanted to learn and tried to learn, and I would say to him, teach me how to do this. Oh, you just sit down and do it. You just sit down and spin. And then I went to the woman who had taught him, kind of. She said, he knows how to spin better than I do. You should ask him. Anyway, it went on and on for years, and I was about to retire. And we had the spinning wheel. So I thought, I'm going to learn how to do this by hook or crook. And I tracked a woman down in Port Huron who, I think she was a bit of a drinker, I think. She taught in high school, and would come home, she and her husband would come home and get into the sauce, and I would go there every Tuesday and night, and she would allegedly teach me how to spin. And I had tried on my own, So, and she would say, after a couple of martinis, oh dear, it's just pinch, pull, release. Pinch, pull, release. Just that's all you have to know. So I tried pinch, pull, release, and voila, suddenly I was getting a yarn. And I was spinning the other day on a fleece, and I was thinking, why did I struggle so? Because once you get it, it's just, you can actually do it without looking, You can do it in your sleep. Even raw fleece, even not roving. Of course, I was spinning roving then. But shortly after that is when I found that bag of Lincoln Longwool and started spinning it. And I had originally followed all the rules, you wash the fleece and that takes forever. And then you card it, and I was terrible at carding. And you card it, and then you get these nasty little roll-log things, and you stack them up. And then finally, after days and days, you sit down at the wheel, and then you spin your little roll-logs up. And I was still working at the time. I was down in the basement, and I really wanted to do some spinning, is what I really wanted to do. But I looked at the bag of fleas, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to wash all that up, and then I'm going to have to let it dry for days and days, and then try to card it. Again, I was terrible at that. And instead I thought, what would happen, the Nazis wouldn't break the door down if I just plucked out some of that nice, beautiful stuff and spun it. And so I did, and it worked. And of course it works best on a long stapled fleece. I did try spinning merino one time out of raw merino fleece, and that staple is very, very short, and it's very, very greasy, so it didn't work as well. But the Icelandic, of course I had never even heard of Icelandic sheep then, but Icelandic fleece just works wonderfully because it has the undercoat, and then it's got they call the undercoat thill, and then tog is the long stuff on top, and you can spin those two together, and it's wonderful. Easy. It's easy. It's so easy. Although it did take me years to learn how to spin.